Welcome to Success IQ classes. Every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, I am going to upload lectures of mathematics IGCSE. If you would like complete chapters, worksheets, revision notes and additional practice questions, you can access this all on Success IQ classes application at a student friendly cost. The link for it is in the description below. Let's continue with the lesson today.
Hello everyone. Today we are starting with IGCSE Cambridge Mathematics, and before starting with the chapter number, I would like to quote something about mathematics. A mathematician is not a person who finds mathematics easy. A mathematician is someone who enjoys the challenge when mathematics becomes difficult. Let's start with the chapter number 1. This is the first chapter of the book. So let's start with exercise 1.18. The first question which we have is from the evaluate the following. The first question is 7.6 plus 0.31. This is an easy question of addition. Let's add it. 7.6 below the decimal, we have to put a decimal point. So that is 0.31. Above 1 there is nothing, so we'll take a 0. Let's add it. 1, 6 plus 3 is 9. Decimal 7 plus 0 is 7. That was an easy question. You might have understood it. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. 15 plus 7.22. Let's add it. 15. So here in number 15 there is no decimal point. So we can do, let's take a decimal after the number. So we can keep zeros after that because we have two different numbers after the point in the next one. 7.22. Let's add it. 0 plus 2 is 2, 0 plus 2 is 2. The decimal 5 plus 7 is 12. Let's carry 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. The final answer we have is 22.22. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. 7.004 plus 0.368. This is also an easy question. Let's do it. 7.004 plus 0.368. I would like if you would do it with me. 4 plus 8 is 12. 1 is carried. 1 plus 6 is 7. 0 plus 3 is 3. The decimal 7 plus 0 is 7. The final answer we have is 7.372. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. 0.06 plus 0.006. This is also an easy question. Let's do it. 0.06. Below it 0.006. Correct. So above 6 we have to take a 0 so that it would be easier for us to add it. So 0 plus 6 is 6. 6 plus 0 is 6. 0 plus 0 is 0. And 0 plus 0 is 0. So final answer we have is 0.066. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. 4.2 plus 42 plus 420. So let's write it down. 4.2. The 42 will come before the decimal. So 2 and 4 over here. After the anti-place of decimal, we'll keep that. And after the decimal, will take us 0. Okay? Let's take the third one as well. So point 0. Here 0, 2 and 4. Let's add it up. 2 plus 0 plus 0. That's 2. The decimal follows. 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. And 4. So the final answer we have is 466.2. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. This is a subtraction question. 3.84 minus 2.62. You can try it with me. 3.84, 2.62. An easy subtraction question. 4 minus 2 is 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. The decimal 3 minus 2 is 1. The final answer we have is 1.22. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. .4 minus 9.73. Let's do it. 11.4, the decimal point again will take it. Before the decimal is 9, after the decimal is 7 and 3. You have to do the subtraction. Above 3, correct, we will take a 0, as said before. Let's do this. So 0 cannot subtract 3, so it will carry it from 4. So this will become 3 and this will become 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 3 minus 7, 3 cannot subtract 7. So it will carry 1 from here. This 1 will become 0. 13 minus 7 is 6. The decimal follows. 0 minus 9, correct, it won't happen. So this will become 0, this will become 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. The final answer we have is 1.67. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 8. 4.61 minus 3. So 4.61 and 3 before the decimal. After the decimal will come 0. Same happened over here. Same will happen over here. So 1 minus 0 is 1. 6 minus 0 is 6. The decimal follows. 4 minus 3 is 1. So the final answer we have is 1.61. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 9. 17 minus 0.37. Let's do it. 17. I'm subtracting. That is 0.37. So after the decimal, we take zeros. Again, this will become 10. But here we can see it's a 0. 0 cannot give any number. So this has to become 10 first. So this, if this is going to become 10, it has to carry from this number which is before it. So this will become 6. And this 10 has given one number to this 0. So this 10 has become 9. You might have understood it once. If you haven't, then I can teach you again. You can just do it again. 17.00 subtracting 0.37. So 0, you have to make it 10. So it will carry a number from this number. But this number is itself 0. So it has to be 10. So for this to become 10, it will carry from this number which is before that. So this will become 6. this will become 10. So now this 0 will be carrying a number from the number which is before it. So this will become 10 and this will become 9. You might have understood it till now. And if you haven't, please let me know. 10 minus 7 is 3, 9 minus 3 is 6, the decimal follows, 6 minus 0 is 6 and 1. So the final answer we have 16.63. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 10. 8.7 plus 19.2 minus 3.8. So in this question we can see first we have to do addition, then we will move on to the subtraction. We cannot do both of them together at once. So let's first add 8.7 plus 19.2. 7 plus 2, 9, the decimal follows. 8 plus 9 is 17, 1 is carried, 1 plus 1 is 2. So what we have is 27.9. So 27.9, from this we will be subtracting 3.8. So subtract 3.8. 9 minus 8 is 1, the decimal follows. 7 minus 3 is 4 and 2. So the final answer which we have is 24.1. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 11. 25 minus 7.8 plus 9.5. So here we can see it is almost the same, just the subtraction is before and the addition is coming after it. So let's do it. 25 minus 7.8. So let's take it point and the 0. So this will become 10, this will become 4. 10 minus 8 is 2, the decimal follows. 4 minus 7 cannot happen. This will become 14 and this will become 1. So 14 minus 7 is 7 and a 1. So the final answer which we have is 17.2. Is that the final answer? No. We have to complete the addition as well. 17.2 plus 9.5. 2 plus 5 is 7. Decimal 7 plus 9 is 16. 1 carried. 1 plus 1 is 2. So the final answer now we have is 26.7. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 12. You can also complete the whole exercise with me. I would like you to do that. 3.6 minus 8.74 plus 9. So here, this is the same question like which we did before, but here we can see one thing. 3.6 subtracting 8.74. Practically, 3.6 is a smaller number and 8.74 is a bigger number. So here what we can do, we can just take 3.6 and add this plus 9, then we can move on to the subtraction. So 3.6 plus 9, so that is 0.0. So this will become 6. 9 plus 3 is 12. So now which we have is 12.6 subtracting 8.74. So about 4 will take a 0. So this will become 10, this will become 5. 10 minus 4 is 6. 5 minus 7 cannot happen. We take 1, this will become 15 minus 7 is 8. Decimal point. This one cannot subtract 8. So we take 1, this will become 0. 11 minus 8 is 3. So the final answer which we have is 3.86. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 13. 20.4 minus 20.399. Let's do it. 20.4 minus 20.399. Don't get confused. This 20.399 is not bigger than 20.4 because if you see, this is 20, 20 same after the decimal 4 and here we have 3. So the first number which is coming after the decimal is bigger than the next one. So this will become 0. If you could see, this is 400 minus 399. Yes, we know that is 1. So here, let's do it. This will become 10. This has to be 10 to give that number. So this will become 9. And for this to be 10, this has to be carried from here. So this has to be 3. 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 9, 0. 3 minus 3, 0. The decimal formula 0 minus 0, 0. 2 minus 2, 0. So the final answer which we have 0.001. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 14. This is a multiplication question. 2.6 multiplying 0.6. 2.6 multiplying 0.6. So here it doesn't matter if you are keeping the decimal point just below the decimal point. We have to just do the multiplication first of all, and then we will think about how are we going to keep the decimal point and what place. Okay, don't worry, we'll understand as we follow through this. So 6 into 6 gives 36. Please carry. 6 into 2 is 12 plus 3, that's 15. Okay, now below 6 you can take a 0. 0 multiplied by 6 is 0. 0 multiplied by 2 is 0. It's added. 6, 5, 1. Now we will think about where to keep the decimal. So this is very easy. So after the decimal we have one number, and this is another number which is also having the decimal. So this is also having after the decimal one number. So here we will add those places. So this is 1 and this is 2. So we have to keep two numbers behind the decimal. So the final answer which we have is 1.56. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 15. 0.72 multiplied by 0.04. Let's do it. 0.72 multiplied by 0.04. Let's do the simple multiplication. 4 into 2 is 8. 7 into 4 is 28. 2 is carried. 4 into 0 is 0 plus 2. So we have 2. Now we can take 0. 0 into 2, 0, 0 into 7, 0, 0 into 0 is 0. And here we are left with one number. So we'll take 2 zeros before. 0 into 2 is 0, 0 into 7 is 0, 0 into 0 is 0. Let's add them up. 8, 8, 2, 0 and 0. Now let's see where we are going to keep the decimal. So after the point, two numbers and two more. So now we have to take four numbers behind the decimal. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the decimal point will come over here. 0.0288. That is the final answer. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 16. 27.2 multiplying 0.08. Let's do the simple multiplication. 27.2 multiplied 0.08. As I said before, it doesn't matter if we are keeping a decimal point below it or not, because here while solving it, we are not caring about it. We are actually taking it into consideration at the final answer. So here, that's why I have wrote it like this. So let's multiply. 8 2s are 8 into 2 is 16. And carry 8 into 7 is 56 plus 1. 57. 8 into 2 is 16 plus 5 is 21. So let's take a 0 below it. 0 multiplied by 2 is 0. 0 multiplied by 7 is 0. 0 multiplied by 2 is 0. And then we have the next number. So first we have to take two zeros. 0 multiplied by 2 is 0. 0 multiplied by 7 is 0. 0 multiplied by 2 is 0. Let's add it up. 6, 7, 1, 2 and a 0. So after decimal 1, 2 and 3. So we need 3 numbers behind the decimal. So let's take 1, 2 and 3. So now the final answer which we have 0, 2. So that is 2.176. Hope you have understood everything clear. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 17. 0.1 multiplied by 0.2. Let's do it. 0.1 multiplied 0.2. 2 into 1 is 2. 2 into 0 is 0. Let's take a 0. 0 into 1 is 0. 0 into 0 is 0. Let's add it up. I write the answer over here. 2 plus 0 is 2. 0 plus 0, 0 and a 0. That is the final answer? No. We are yet to write the decimal. After the decimal 1 and 2. So we take two numbers behind the decimal and the final answer which we have is 0.02. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 18. 0.01 square. What does squares mean? Square means we have to multiply the same number with itself. So let's do it. 0.01 multiplying 0.01. 1 into 1, 1. 1 into 0, 0. 1 into 0, 0. Again, let's take a 0. See, now this 0 has to multiply by 3 numbers and it is going to be zeros. So let's write it directly. Same happens for this 0. So first of all, we have to take 2 zeros. Do not forget that. So 3 numbers which are multiplied by 0. So let's write 3 zeros and let's add it. 1 and remaining everything is 0. Okay. So now let's see. After the decimal, we have 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 numbers behind the decimals. 1, 2, 3 and 4. The final answer which we have is 0.0001. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 19. 2.1 multiplying 3.6. Let's do it. It's a simple multiplication question. 6 into 1 is 6. 6 into 2 is 12. Let's take a 0. 3 into 1 is 3. 3 into 2 is 6. Let's add it up. 6, 5, 7. So after decimal 1 and 2, let's take two numbers behind the decimal. And the final answer which we get is 7.56. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 20. 2.31 multiplied by 0.34. Simple multiplication question again. Let's do it. 2.31 multiplied by 0.34. 4 into 1 is 4. 4 into 3 is 12. 4 into 2 is 8 plus 1, 9. Let's take a 0. 3 into 1 is 3. 3 into 3 is 9. 3 into 2 is 6. And here again which we have is 0. So before multiplying that we have to take these two zeros. So this 0 is multiplied by 3 numbers. Let's write 3 zeros. Let's add it up. 4 plus 0 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 3 plus 0 is 5. 9 plus 9 plus 0 is 18. 1 plus 6 is 7 plus 0 is 7. Add the 0. After the decimal, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 numbers, we add the decimal. So the final answer which we have is 0.7854.
Question number 21. Let's see. Question number 21. 0.36 multiplied by 1000. So in this type of question, we will not be using the traditional multiplication method. Rather, we would be using some other way of doing it. I can tell you how. It's way easier. So by seeing this number 0.36, we have to multiply it by 1000. So in 1000, at the start, we can see a number that is 1. So let's multiply this into 1. Yeah, that's easy. So 0.36 into 1 is going to be 0.36. The remaining 3 zeros, we will be using those just to shift the decimal point. So I'll show you how to do it. So now we have 0.36. So now as we are multiplying it by 1000, we will just move it 3 places because there are 3 zeros, so 3 places to the right. So 1, 2 and 3. So the decimal will come over here. So what does this means? So before there is nothing, so we'll take a 0, and after there is nothing, so let's take a 0. So the answer which we get is going to be 360.0. Wasn't it easy? Rather than multiplying, we have just shifted 3 places of 0. So that is 3 points, 3 decimal points which we have shifted in the place. So the final answer is 360. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 22. This is a similar type of question. 0.34 multiplied by 100,000. This is a similar type of question. So let's see. 0.34 is been multiplied with 1 and there are 5 zeros ahead. So let's just shift the places of point. Let's do it. So 5 places it will be shifted. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. At the fifth, give a decimal, write zeros in the blank spaces. So the final answer which we get is 34000. So 34,000. Yes, after the decimal there is 0, so there is no need to write it. So the final answer which we have is 34,000. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 23. 3.6 divided by 0.2. This is the first division question which we have got till now. Let's do it. So this can be written in a fraction form. that is 3.6 upon 0.2. So here what we can see, both the numerator and the denominator both have a decimal point. So how to remove the decimal point so that it would be much easier for us to divide it? So what we can see, as till here what we have seen, to remove the decimal point, what happened? We multiplied it with 1000. So over here we have multiplied it with 100,000. Just like that, in this method what has happened? The decimal point is shifted to the right. So here also we don't want 3.6, we would be looking for 36. So to get 36 we just need one zero. So that is, we can multiply this by 10. So as we are multiplying the numerator by 10, we also have to multiply the denominator with 10. Okay? As what happens to the numerator happens the same to the denominator. So as we multiply them, what do we get? We get 36 divided by 2. Now this is a way easier division question. We can do it. 2, 36. 2 into 1 is 2. 1 and 6. 2 into 8 is 16. The answer which we get is 18. So the answer, final answer for this is 18. We can just erase this. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 24. Just a minute. है? चल चल नहीं बोले. Sorry for the interruption. Let's continue with the question number 24. 0.592 divided by 0.8. So this is a similar type of question, but just one thing which we can see over here. So let's, before moving on to that, let's write it into a fractional form. So that is 0.592 upon 0.8. In this and in that, what's the difference? Over there, the decimal point, after the decimal point, there was just one number in the numerator and one number in the denominator. But over here, we have three numbers in the numerator and just one number in the denominator after the decimal point. So what we are actually looking for to do is we have to remove the decimal point from the denominator. In the numerator, let it stay, so that it would be much easier for us to solve rather than increasing the steps to solve it. So let's multiply it by 10 upon 10. So what do we get? So one place the decimal will shift. So that is going to be 5.92 upon 8. 5.92 upon 8. Let's do the simple division. 5.92 and 8. 8 cannot divide 5, so we can take 0. The 5 is carried. The next number is 9. So before 9 there is a decimal point. So now as the decimal point comes over here, we can just take it here in the divisor as well. Okay. Now 59, 8 sevens 56, 3 and 5 minus 5 is 0. The next number is carried as 2. So 8 into 4 is 32. It's been divided completely. The final answer what we have is 0.74. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 25. 0.1404 divided by 0.06. Let's write it in the fractional form. So what are we going to multiply over here? So by looking in this question, what we see is in the denominator there are two digits after the decimal. So let's multiply it by 100. So as we multiply this by 100, we have to multiply the numerator as well by 100. So after multiplying this by 100, the decimal point will shift two places. So the answer for the next fraction what we will be having is 14.04 upon 6. So this is an easy division. Let's do it. 14.04 divided by 6. We can see 6 cannot divide 1. So let's take 0. 6 into 2 is 12. 2. So here the decimal comes. Let's take it above. The 0 follows. 6 into 3 is 18. Again 2. And the 4 comes down. 6 into 4 is 24. It's been divided completely. So the final answer what we have is 2.34. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 26. 3.24 divided by 0.002. This is a similar type of question, but there is just one small catch. You'll understand why we solve it. So what is the catch? What we understand over here is in the denominator after the decimal there are 3 digits. So we have to multiply it by 1000. So as we multiply the denominator by 1000, we have to multiply the numerator as well by 1000. So what do we get in the numerator? So the numerator 3 zeros. So 3 decimal places it has to shift to the right. So 1, 2. Oh, there are just 2 places. So we have to take one more 0 after it. So the answer what we get in the next step is 3240 upon. Here 3 places. So it is going to be 2. This is an easiest way to get it. So now rather than doing the traditional division method, I am going to show you the next way of doing it. So we know 2 into 1 is 2, and here 2 into 3, no, we will take 2 into 1 as 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1, which is left with us. Take it in your hand. The next digit is 2. So 1 and 2 next to it, that's 12. So we know 2 into 6 is 12. It's divided? No, we are left with more 2 digits. So the next single digit is 4. 2 into 2 is 4. And the last 0, don't neglect that. The 0 also has its value. 2 into 0 is 0. So the final answer which we have is 1620. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 27. 0.968 divided by 0.11. The same method which we are going to follow, 0.968 upon 0.11. Let's multiply it by 100. By 100, 2 digits after the decimal. So now what we get? 96.8 upon 11. Let's do it. So we know 11 into 1 is 11 and 96 doesn't goes in 11, what's the nearest smallest number? So that is going to be, which is divisible by 11. So 11 into 8 is 88. 96 minus 88, yes, that is 8. So the next number what we have, which is after the decimal, we have to take the decimal over here. So that is 8. So 8 next to 8 is 88. 11 into 8 is 88. So the final answer what we have is 8.8. If you haven't understood this direct division method, you can also use the same traditional method which we did before. There is no problem in that. But eventually I would suggest you that you should move on with this method within some time, because this saves a lot of time of yours. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 28. 600 divided by 0.5. Let's write it in the fraction. So 0.5, we have to multiply it by 10. So the answer what we have is 6000 upon 5. The 600 is not having any decimal, so just multiplying it by 10, it is going to be 6000. So let's divide this. 5 into 1 is 5, and here 5 into 1 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. So 1 and the next number is 0. So 1 and the next number 0 is 10. So 5 into 2 is 10. So the next is 5 into 0 is 0. 5 into 0 is 0. So the final answer what we have is 1200. Hope you have understood everything till here. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 29. 0.007 divided by 4. Here we can directly do the division. 0.007 upon 4. Here in the denominator there is no decimal point, so we can directly solve it. But okay, let's do it. 4 ones 4, and over here 4 into 0 is 0. The decimal comes as it is. 4 into 0 is 0. 4 into 0 is 0. Here it is 7. So 4 into 1 is 4. 7 minus 4 is 3. So as these numbers are after the decimal, so we can add n number of zeros after it until we finally don't get the last answer. So what we were left with, 7 minus 4, that is 3, which we kept in our hand. The next number is 0. So 3, 0, 30. So 4 into 7 we know is 28. 30 minus 28 is 2 in our hand. Let's take one more 0 behind it. So 2 and 0 next to it, that is going to be 20. So 4 into 5 is 20. So the final answer what we have is 0.00175. If you haven't understood this, we can do it in the same traditional method. I can show you if you want. 0.007 and 4. So 4 zeros, 0. So the decimal will take it above. 4 zeros, 0 again. Then 0. So 4 zeros, 0. Now what we have is 7. Let's continue it over here. 0, 7 is what we have. So now 4 ones 4. This is remaining as 3. So as these are after the decimal, we can take n number of zeros. So let's make it 30. So 4 into 7 is 28. Remaining 2, and we can take one more 0. So 4 into 5 is 20. And we are done with this. So this is the same answer which we have over here. That's the final answer. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 30. 2640 divided by 200. Okay, let's write it down in fraction. 2640 upon 200. Over here, what we understand, in the numerator, the last digit is what we have as 0. In the denominator, it's the same. The last digit which we have is 0. We can just cancel it out like that. So what does that exactly means? This means that I have divided numerator by 10, denominator by 10. Okay, so what we have the next number as 264 upon 20. Okay, what I know is 20 is a number which can be written in a form as 2 multiplied by 10. Okay, why I am doing it? We can divide this whole number directly by 2. First let's do that, then we'll move on to 10. So 2 into 1 is 2, and here 2 into 1 is 2, 2 into 3 is 6, 2 into 2 is 4. So what we have is 132 and the remaining is 10. So 10 has been divided. So as we did before, what we have understood, when we have multiplied any number in the multiples of 10, like 10, 100, 1000, 100,000, so at those times the decimal point just moves to the right. But what happens when it comes in the division and not in the multiplication? So the decimal point moves to the left. So over here, this is a whole number. We are not able to see any decimal point over here. So what does that mean? The decimal is after it. So as we are dividing it by 10, 10 is having just 1 0. So it will shift one place. So the final answer is what we have as 13.2. Hope you might have understood this. If you haven't, please let me know. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 31. 1100 divided by 5.5. Let's write it down in the fraction. So 5.5, we have to make it 55, correct, by multiplying it by 10. So this will look like 11,000 upon 55. What we can see over here, we don't have to directly divide it by 55 itself. Not everyone is so fond of maths that they would be knowing how to write the table of 55 so quickly. So rather than that, what we can do, we can divide the numerator and denominator together by a same number which is in which these numbers are divisible. Okay, you can understand that. I'll tell you how. What I can see, 11 and 55 both are divisible by 11. So let's do that. 11 into 1 is 11, 11 into 0 is 0, 11 into 0 is 0, 11 into 0 is 0, and the denominator 11 into 5 is 55. Now that is an easy fraction what we have. Let's solve it. 5 into 1 is 5, 5 into 2 is 10, 5 into 0 is 0, 5 into 0 is 0. So the final answer what we have is 200. Hope you might have found it easy. The more practice you do, the better you get at it. So let's move on to the question number 32. If you have ever felt that we are moving faster, you can pause the video and just note it down, or you can understand it. So let's do the question number 32. 11 bracket open, 11 plus 2.4 bracket close multiplied by 0.06. So first of all we are going to solve the bracket, then we will multiply it by 0.06. We won't be doing it directly because there is no direct option to do it. So let's add this up. 11, 2.4. Let's add it. So above no decimal, so let's take a decimal and a 0. So what we have is 4 decimal, 3 and 1. Now what we have is 13.4 multiplied by 0.06. So now as we have to solve this, how are we going to write this? It's much easier to do it. I'll show you. We can write 13.4 multiplied by 6 upon. So 0.06 is nothing other than 6 upon 100. See, you can shift two decimal places. What do we get? 6. But to the right, if we have to shift, then we have to multiply it, correct? But are we getting any numbers to multiply over here? No. So we have to divide it, because on purpose we have been moving it to the right. It is not the need of the question. So here what we have is 6 upon 100. So let's multiply this directly. 13.4 multiplied by 6. 6 into 4, 24. 6 into 3 is 18 plus 2 is 20. 6 into 1 is 6 plus 2 is 8. And the decimal. So after the decimal, just one digit. So let's take it over here. This is not the final answer. We are yet left with 100 to divide it. So how the 100 is been divided? We will just move the decimal to the left side as it has been divided. So two zeros, so two decimal places. So the final answer is what we have. So 1 and 2. So here, before that, so the final answer which we have is 0.804. You might have understood this. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 33. You can multiply this directly as well. There is no problem in that. If you want, I can show you that as well. And we will be getting the same answer after it. There is no hurry to moving on to the next question before understanding this. So we can directly write 13.4 multiplied by 0.06. So again, multiplying by 6, we are going to get the same answers. Correct? 6 into 4, 24. 6 into 3, 18 plus 2, 20. 6 into 1, 6 plus 2 is 8. Correct? 804 is what we had before. Now taking the 0. Now 0 into 3 different digits. We are going to get zeros. Now 2 more zeros. And 0 into 3 more digits. 1, 2, 3. Let's add it up. Four zero eight zero zero. Now after the decimal, 1, 2 and 3. 3 digits after the decimal. So let's leave 3, 1, 2, 3. So here we'll put the decimal. So the final answer we get is 0.804. It is the exact same answer what we got before. See? So now you have two different methods to solve one type of multiplication number. Let's move on to the question number 33. Bracket open, 0.4, bracket close, square. divided by 0.2. As I have said this earlier, 0.4 has been squared, and what does square means? Multiplying the same number with itself. And the divide sign and 0.2, let's write it down in the fraction. Okay, so now as in the denominator we don't need decimals, what we will do, we will multiply it by 10. So let's do it. So 0.4 multiplied by 10 is going to be 4, remaining as it is. Then we have 0.2 multiplied by 10, that is 2. So we know 2 into 1 is 2, 2 into 2 is 4. What are we left with? 2 into 0.4. So let's do that. 2 multiplied by 0.4. We can write it upside down. 2 into 4 is 8, 2 into 0 is 0. After the decimal, 1 digit. So final answer is what we have as 0.8. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 34. 77 divided by 1000. So the method which I showed you over here, this can be used over here directly. So we don't need to divide it. We'll just write 77. 1000 has 3 zeros as it has been divided. So it will move the decimal point to the left side. So if there is no decimal, that means the decimal is after the numbers. So 3 places we have to move. 1, 2, 3. So here, so 0 and 0. So the final answer what we have is 0.077. Hope you might have understood this. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 35. 0.3 square divided by 100. Let's write it down. 0.3 multiplied by 0.3 and divided by 100. Okay, this is easy, no worries. 0.3 multiplied by 0.3. 3 into 3 is 9. 3 into 0, 0. Let's take 0. And two numbers multiplied by 0. Again we get 0. What do we have? 9, 0, 0. After the decimal, 1 and 2. So what we have? Is this the final answer? No. So 0.09 divided by 100. So as it has been divided, the decimal will shift to the left. So let's move it. 1, 2. Correct? So the final answer what we have is 0.0009. Till here we are done with 35 questions. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 36. 0.1 raised to 4 divided by 0.01. So a number raised to 4, that means it has to be multiplied 4 times by itself. So 0.1 into 0.1 multiplied by 0.1 multiplied by 0.1 upon what we have is 0.01. See, in the denominator we have 0.001. So we have to multiply it by 100 to get what? This as 1, and above what will happen? 100 has 2 zeros. So 100 can be also said as 10 multiplied by 10. So one of those 10 will multiply it by 0.1. So that will become 1, and another 10 will be multiplied by with the next one, so this will become 1. So the remaining are as it is. Okay, so now what do we know? 1 into 1 is 1, 1 divided by 1 is 1. So what we are left with? These two, 0.1 into 0.1. So what do we know? Let's do that. See, 1 into 1 is 1. Okay, there is no need to multiply it by 0 and number of times. What we see after the decimal, there is 1 and 2 digits. Do you see any decimal over here? No. So we have to take 2 digits after the decimal. So the answer what we get is 0.01. So the final answer what we have is 0.01. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 37. 92 multiplied by 4.6 upon 2.3. So in the denominator again we have a decimal point. Let's multiply numerator and denominator both by 10. So what do we get? So this 10 is multiplied by 4.6, so that its decimal also goes away. So we can write 92 multiplied by 46 upon 23. See, if you know the table of 23, you will be able to do it much easily. So 23 into 1 is 23, 23 into 2 is 46. Now what we are left with? 92 multiplied by 2. Let's do the multiplication directly over here rather than doing it like this. It's easy. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. Nothing to carry. 2 multiplied by 9 is 18. So let's write it down. So the final answer what we have is 184. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 38. 180 multiplied by 4 divided by 36. Okay, so I guess you might be knowing the table of 4, which is easy. Yes, so 4 into 1 is 4, 4 into 9 is 36. So what do we have remaining as? 180 divided by 9. So what do we see? 9 can divide 18, right? So 9 into 1 is 9, 9 into 2 is 18, and the remaining 0. So 9 into 0 is 0. So the final answer what we have is 20. Hope you are able to understand everything over here till here. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 39. 0.55 multiplied by 0.81 divided by 4.5. Yes, that's the easiest way what we have learned till now. This 0.55 has to be multiplied by 100 to get the whole number as 55. Another 100 to be multiplied by 0.81. So what we see over here will do the same thing in the denominator. Now what happens? This will become a whole number as 55. This will become the whole number as 81. In the denominator what will happen? We just needed 1. So 1 can directly go. This will become 45. And the remaining zeros, that is 1, 2 and 3, those would be written just after it. So this will become 45,000. No, that is not a very big number. Don't get stressed in this. It's much easier to solve now. I'll show you exactly how we can do it. See, what we see, the last digit is 5, here the last digit is 0. And if you ignore zeros, you can see the last digit is 5. So both these numbers can be divided by 5 itself. So 5 ones are 5 and 5 into 1 is 5. So this is 11, and here what will happen? 5 into 9 is 45 and the remaining 3 zeros. And the 81 is left as it is. Now let's try to solve it. Now what we know, 9 can divide 81. That is 9 into 9 is 81. So let's do it. 9 into 1 is 9 and 3 zeros. 9 into 9 is 81. So what are we left with? 11 multiplied by 9. 11 multiplied by 9. And in the denominator, what do we have? In the denominator, we have is 1000. And what we know, when we get 1000, 100, 10, these type of multiple number of 10, in the division, we just shift the decimal places. So 11 into 9 we know is 99 and 3 decimal places to be shifted. So let's do that. So the decimal will be over here after the number. So 1, 2 and 3. So here 0 and 0. So the final answer what we have is 0.099. And now we have reached to the last question of the exercise, question number 40. Let's do it quickly. 63 multiplied by 600 multiplied by 0.2 divided by 360 multiplying 7. See, what are we looking in this question right now? What you can see, what we have did till now, what I can see is 0 in the denominator in the last place, 0 in the numerator in the last place. We can just take it away directly, as I taught you earlier. Now what else we can see? 63 is a number which can be divided by 7. So let's do that. 7 into 1 is 7. 7 into 9 is 63. Okay. What else we can see? 36 and 60. Both can be divided using 6. So 6 into 6 is 36 and 6 into 10 is 60. What else? Yes, now what we can see, we are left with 9, 10, 0.2 and in the denominator only 6 is there. Also we can see 9 and 6 both are being divisible by 3. So let's do it here itself. 3 into 2 is 6, 3 into 3 is 9. So in the denominator we are left with 2, in the numerator 3, 10, 0.2. And till now we have learned this one thing very easily. 10 into 0.2 will look like 2 and the remaining is 3 and in the denominator is 2. So this 2 can directly go away. 2 into 1 is 2, 2 into 1 is 2. The final answer what we have is 3 into 1, that is 3. And successfully we have completed the first exercise of the chapter 1, number 1. Hope you have enjoyed this. I'll see you in the next lecture for the next exercise 1.1b. Thank you. Learning maths becomes easier when you stay consistent. So subscribe to Success IQ classes. Also hit the notification bell and join me every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday for a brand new IGCSE lesson. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep aiming above limits. I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.